6, Bottle My Heart, and this one made a huge turn. And it's your boy Icon with another DC animated television review for you, going over that Harley Quinn. And before we get started, as always, ladies and or gentlemen, click that notification bell, like and or subscribe to my YouTube channel. Help me get those watch time hours up so we can get monetized and do some more stuff for you. And let's get started with some Harley Quinn action. So here, we're doing, like, in the last episode, they made this whole thing about Lois and Harley having the same dream with the Skullface. And they were supposed to team up together and investigate and try to do the whole thing to figure out this whole skull madness. As soon as the episode, before the opening credits even start, the two of them get into an argument and they immediately break up that, like, that partnership. Just like with the Birds of Prey, where we ended the season with like, yeah, we're going to be the Birds of Prey. And then when the season started, it's like that shit broke up in like 2 seconds. Because when the two of them were having a conversation, Harley kept talking about how she did a non-verbal play when she was a kid and won an award for it. And that just kept being like a talking point throughout the course of the entire episode. But we find out why later. But in the midst of her and Lois kept bringing up her Pulitzer, award, whatever. And while they were talking, Harley had mentioned, because Lois said that the disappearance of Dr. Woodrow, she feels is tied in to this whole Brainiac thing that's going on with the Skullface. And then that's when Harley said, she was like, well, it has nothing to do with Woodrow because he was an asshole. That's why me and Ivy killed him. And then for some reason, instead of Lois just taking that information and keeping it to herself, she just like runs to the Daily Planet and publishes an article that says Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy killed Dr. Woodrow. So now the two of them are beefing. They break up. Like the team, like this whole investigation thing broke up, so that didn't last. Harley was more upset that the paper said that she was 48 years old. So she goes down to the Daily Planet to try to get, Lois to print a retraction. She bumps into Perry White, who we know now is Clayface, because Clayface, he had snatched up Perry White earlier in the show, because that whole Clayface episode, I guess it actually meant something. It actually meant something here. So she's talking to Clayface. Clayface is like, I can't get Lois to print the retraction. They call Lois in, and then Harley's like, if you don't print the retraction, I'm basically going to tell everybody that you kidnapped Perry White. And then he was like, Lois, print the retraction. And then she was like, no. And then she got mad, and she was like, you know what, screw this, I quit. And then Lois quits the Daily Planet. So the three of them, and Bane's in the room too. So now Bane, Clayface, and Harley, they're all sitting in a kumbaya circle trying to figure out what they're going to do. While all this is happening, we go to outer space, and Lena Luthor is up in space with Brainiac, and they're talking about their plan. Apparently, Brainiac promised Lena that she could take over Metropolis, but first it had to be perfect for Brainiac to take it and put it in his glass jar. And this is the part where I'm confused, because if you're Lena, did you really just agree to live in a glass jar for the rest of your life in Metropolis just for the sake of being its ruler? I don't understand I don't, like, at one point I was like, is she aware that he's going to put the city under glass? I don't understand the motivation behind what she wanted to do. Like, that was weird. But then, he was like, but Brainiac was just like, oh, he's like, but I can't take the city until it's perfect. It has to be perfect first. And then, like, when he said all that, she got mad, and she was like, oh, you promised me things, because he kept talking to the monkey, whatever. And then she was like, stop talking to your dead monkey. And then he was like, the monkey's not dead, he's alive. And then she picked up the bones, and then she was like, it's not dead. And what are these, motherfucker, what are these? And then he got mad, and he was like, you know what, I don't need you anymore. He was like, I'll finish the city on my own. And then he kicked her out and sent her back to Metropolis. So now she mad, she up on her feelings, and because she up on her feelings, she went to the Daily Planet. She spoke to Harley, she spoke to Clayface, and she spoke to Bane, and she told them the entire story, the entire plan of what her and Brainiac were planning and what they were going to do to take over the world and take over Metropolis. So why would you not tell Lois that? But because even then, when they said, why are you telling us? Like, because she's like, oh, you're supposed to do something, because they're villains, she thought they were going to do something about it, which was like, why would you not tell Lois that? But then they decide, instead of actually like warning the public or like doing an assault on Brainiac and all of his robots and all of his drones, they decide to do a musical about the story that Lena just told them about Brainiac. Yeah. So now we're doing a musical. We're at the musical. They do the play. Like, Harley's playing the role of Lena Luthor. Frank is playing the dead monkey. Clayface is playing Brainiac. Lena shows up to the play, and then she's sitting next to Ivy, and she's like, I told them this information so they could stop him. I didn't tell them this so they could do a play. And then Ivy said, well, this is how they handle it. This is how they deal with it. And she said, plus, once the play's up, we're getting the fuck out of here. So Lena's watching, and then it's like, Lena watched the play. Like, why are you watching the play? So Lena's watching the play. They're going through the entire story. The entire story that Lena told them, they put the entire thing on display. Now, Brainiac, for some reason, he was scanning Metropolis, and he saw the play. He saw, like, the header for the play in the theater. He puts one of his cameras in, and he starts watching the play. So now he's watching the play. There was a moment where Frank saw a rose plant that was in the corner, and he started flirting with it. More on that later. While Brainiac was watching the play, and I guess, like, watching his life unfold, there was a moment where, like, Frank the monkey died, and then Brainiac was like, no, you're dead. And then that's when Brainiac, in the spaceship, he came to terms with the fact that the monkey actually is dead, because, like, the play made him, like, accept that. And then he was just like, dear God, am I going crazy? And then, Clayface was like, I'm going crazy, and then he was just like, well, shit. Brainiac finally accepted the fact that he was like, I've been going mad all these centuries. He's like, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Like, maybe my programming is flawed. He's like, with the loss of my wife, my planet, and everything. He's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But he said that these people here on Earth, these people on Metropolis, they have no idea the type of, about the type of loss that I had to feel. He's like, they don't know the pain that I feel. They don't know what I'm feeling. And then when the play was over, they got a standing ovation from the crowd. Everybody gave him a standing ovation. And then for some reason, the curtain closed. And then when the curtain opened back up again, Frank was dead. Like, Plant Frank was dead. And Ivy came running down. She held him. She tried to bring him back to life. He didn't come back to life. And then Frank died. And then after Frank died, that's when Brainiac was like, oh, now you know the pain that I feel and how I feel. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how Brainiac killed Frank. My guess is that the reason why he showed the plant, him looking at the rose plant, maybe Brainiac poisoned that plant on purpose because he knew Frank was going to try to bang it. And when Frank tried to bang it, Frank got poisoned by the plant. Because nothing else, like, unless they're going to show us that something happened behind the curtain, next week's episode, I don't know how Frank died. And the way Brainiac spoke was like he's the one who did that. Like, he did that on purpose just to teach her a lesson about loss. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. Why is Perry White still chained up in Clayface's apartment? Bane's family was there for some reason. I'm confused. I'm so confused. But hopefully in next week's episode they'll shed some light on the situation. Like, we lost Frank. Like, we lost one of the characters of the show. So I would assume he's coming back at some point, but who knows? Superman's still up in outer space. And we'll see what happens in next week's episode of Harley Quinn. So check out my other reviews, because I got Cobra Kai up on my channel. By the time you watch this, the series finale of Cobra Kai should be up on my channel. But until then, go watch the previous 14 episodes of Cobra Kai for this final season as we review Cobra Kai. We got Daredevil Born again coming. They did say that the Defenders were going to make a comeback. Thank goodness, because I like me some Jessica Jones, some Luke Cage, and some Iron Fist. And then it's like, you done brought back Frank Castle. So it's like, how are you going to bring in the first guy, which is Daredevil, the last guy, which was Frank Castle? It's like, you got to put in the pieces in the middle. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to that Daredevil Born Again. And like I said, Peacemaker is not coming out till September. It's August, September. We get Superman in July. But I said, I'm still waiting. I didn't do Captain America yet. I'm going to watch Captain America soon, and I'm going to do the review for Captain America. So give me a little bit longer for the Captain America. But until then, let's enjoy this Harley Quinn, my final episode of Cobra Kai. And like I said, the Captain America when I finally do the Captain America review, and then that Daredevil Born Again, which comes out, I believe, next week. Check me out all over social media. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out on TikTok. Check me out on X, always on YouTube, where you can leave your questions, comments, and or concerns as we roll on for some more Harley Quinn goodness with all this superhero stuff and everything else in between. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. So until next week, as the final curtain closed, well, maybe not the final curtain, but the curtain closed on Frank. So we'll find out what happened next week. And until then, we're out this bitch.